It's time to cook with Susan Beck, and today we are going to make some homemade pretzels. You know, making bread at home is so simple. I love using instant yeast when I make bread. Ever since I switched to instant yeast, I have not had any trouble getting my bread to rise and turn out perfect. I have 3½ cups of flour, and I'm going to add to that a tablespoon of sugar, as well as half a teaspoon of salt. These are my dry ingredients, and the thing about instant yeast that I think just makes it foolproof is that I'm going to put my yeast right in with all of my dry ingredients. No more proofing and hoping that it bubbles and that the yeast is activated. Instead, I'm putting it all right in here together. So sugar, salt, lots of flour, and 2¼ teaspoons of instant yeast. Now I store this in my refrigerator. It stays fresher longer, but this little jar will stay active and good. This says till December 2025, and I bought it around that time in 2024. So you can get about a year's worth of use out of it. So I just mix that all together. Instant yeast, right in with all my dry ingredients. So I've got 1⅓ cups of water that I warmed up in the microwave. A minute to a minute and a half is sufficient just to get it a little bit warm. It doesn't need to be boiling or anything. Don't want it that hot. And then I'm just going to stir that in with all of my dry ingredients and get a little dough here. So I'm going to put this bowl onto my KitchenAid stand mixer and let my dough hook do the kneading. Now this is not required. You can definitely knead this by hand. Notice how it's all pulled away from the sides of the bowl. I want to let it knead for several minutes though. So if you don't have a nice stand mixer, you can do this kneading on the surface right in front of you. Clean your countertop up well, and you can knead by just folding it over and pressing your hand down into that dough over and over. Flip it around and fold from all different directions. Now if you're doing this by hand, you're probably going to need to do this for about 10 minutes, where on my stand mixer in, I don't know, 3, 4, even less than 5 minutes, I have this nice, smooth, elastic ball of dough. Once your dough is kneaded and ready to go, you are going to break it into 2 pieces of dough. And then from there, you're going to break that half into 2 more pieces. And then you're going to take that 1/4 of a ball and you are going to break that into 3 balls of dough. We are going to end up with 12 pretzels. I like to just roll it back and forth in my hand. As long as I can make this, the better. And we're going to have these fantastic pretzels. Now my son brought this recipe home from school. When he was in 8th grade, he was actually taking a high school home ec class, and this was one of the things that they made during the home ec class was these pretzels. And the original recipe doesn't say you need to let them sit and rise at all, but I actually prefer to let them sit for even just 20 minutes, 30 minutes, up to 45 minutes, and then bake them. All right, so once I have this long snake-like piece of dough, I'm just gonna fold it around and turn it into a little pretzel. So we're gonna repeat that 12 different times. It's kind of fun. I love working with bread dough. Before I go any further, let's grease this pan just to make it a little easier to lift those off after they're done cooking. So just a little cooking spray across there, and then we'll continue folding our pretzels. All right, so to fold those into a pretzel shape, I just take the ends, crisscross them, and bring them back into the middle and kind of hook them together. Fold them around in a circle, bring the ends together, kind of pinch them there. All right, I've got one more ready to go here. And there we go. All right, so we have 6 pretzels done. We still have this half of the dough, so we're gonna break that in half and then break each of those pieces into 3 more. So So we have 12 beautiful pretzels here, and don't worry if yours don't look quite like this. They taste just fine no matter what shape they are in. All right, we're going to crack one egg open and beat that up a little bit with an egg beater or with just a fork. And we're going to brush this on the top of our pretzels. It just gives them a nice golden top, and it gives us something to help our salt adhere. I've got some kosher salt here. Some larger grain salt is my preference, but regular table salt would be just fine as well. So we're just going to put some egg on every one of these. All right, and we'll put plenty of salt on the top. Now you could do cinnamon and sugar as well. I'm more of a savory, salty kind of person than a sugar person, so I always go with the salt, but either one would be fine. Now this is a recipe that is just fantastic to make with young kids. What a great way to introduce them into making bread. Give them each a chunk of it and let them knead their portion of it, let them break it up and fold it however they would like. These are all ready for the oven. They're going to bake no more than 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes in a 425 degree oven. When they come out, we're going to add some melted butter to the top. In the meantime, I said I do like to let mine rise for a little bit. So I'm just going to put this towel over the top while they sit there and rest for, maybe like 30 minutes. Then I'm going to throw them into the oven. So plan to preheat your oven 15 minutes before you want to bake them. Oh, and they're just fantastic hot out of the oven. Or when you have the leftovers, just put them in the microwave for 10 seconds and heat them up just a little bit. Look at these gorgeous pretzels. Can't wait to try those. Let's add the butter. Some butter, and I'm ready to baste that on to the top of each one of these. Now, a little trick is to let these sit for 5 minutes and just cool just a little bit. I think it keeps the butter from running completely off if they're just slightly cooled. And with the salt and the butter, I can't wait to dig in and try these. Now, tonight I'm serving these as a little side dish, a little bread with my supper. Made some Old Settlers beans, so you might want to check out that recipe at my YouTube channel, Time to Cook with Susan Beck. And maybe you'd like to serve them with some Old Settlers beans as well, but they're also like great in my lunch. I have one for breakfast. Perfectly cooked. Love the golden top to them. Just the right amount of salt. All right, you have to try these. If you're not into making bread and haven't done a lot of it, this is a great place to start. Try making some homemade pretzels.